We are getting set for the battle in the barn tonight. The only match of the season that Minnesota plays here at Williams Arena, the building they call the barn. Tonight it's number 5, Nebraska, and the 14th ranked Golden Gophers. Let's listen into the lineup for the Huskers, brought to you by Tachikara.
Hey Husker Nation, this is senior setter Bridget Ritt with tonight's introductions. Starting on the left side is the dynamic duo of juniors Gina Mancuso and Hannah Worth. Digging balls at left back is freshman libero Laura Dykstra. Roaming in the middle is middle blockers Brooke Delano, who's a senior, and Haley Tramer, who's a redshirt sophomore. And last but not least, on the right side of the court, we have junior setter Lauren Cook and sophomore opposite Morgan Brookheis. Thanks for watching Big Ten Network, and go Big Red.
Nebraska is led by John Cook, who picked up his 350th win with the Huskers last night in Madison against the team he used to coach, the Wisconsin Badgers. And now the lineup for the home team tonight, Minnesota.
Hello, I'm Ariana Filio. The Gopher lineup for tonight is going to be the two outside hitters are Haley Cowles and Ashley Whitman. Our right side, Catherine Harms. The setter, Mia Taberson. In the middle, we will have Tori Dixon and myself, Ariana Filio, with the libero, Jessica Granquist.
Laura Bush is serving as the interim head coach for the Gophers, while Hugh McCutcheon is coaching the U.S. national team. He will join the Gophers after the Summer Olympics. In the meantime, though, Laura Bush says this has been a very smooth transition. It's an interesting dynamic right now for the Golden Gophers, though. In this series, head-to-head with Minnesota and Nebraska, it's been a couple of years since these teams matched up. Nebraska owns the lead in this series, 27-4 in the 31 times they've met, and 12 straight, Audrey, in this matchup. Nebraska has definitely things rolling against Minnesota.
That's right, and in the last 4 meetings that they've played here in Minnesota, they have won those 4, so we'll see how it all plays out tonight.
Nebraska is, of course, playing its first season in the Big Ten, and what a start for the Cornhuskers. They are undefeated in the conference, just Nebraska and Illinois, the only 2 unbeatens left. But Minnesota had a great weekend last weekend, beating Michigan and Michigan State on the road. So the Golden Gophers have found a bit of a groove. They're hoping to surge a little bit more after stumbling right out of the gates.
Yeah, it's kind of a tale of 2 teams, Marty. They have a tendency to play really hot, and then they kind of go on this downward spiral, which we saw when they played Ohio State, Penn State. So we'll see how they come out tonight. They're going to be hot.
And in this season of volleyball, you can have those stumbles, and John Cook knows all about this. As long as you're surging at the right time and your team comes together at the end of the season, and that's when you're playing your best volleyball, like in any sport, but volleyball in particular has this rhythm and this surge at the end that if you can put it together late, you're in great shape.
Yeah, it's critical for you to learn from those losses. If you don't learn from them, you're dead.
Minnesota had some early losses and was swept on the road at Penn State and Ohio State. Just a really rough weekend for the Golden Gophers. That was October 4th and 5th, but came back to win at Michigan State, at Michigan, being down 2-0 at Michigan against the Wolverines. Minnesota ended up winning there for the first time since 2003. And that was an impressive turnaround for this Gophers team. It said a lot about the character. Nebraska, meanwhile, has just been coasting in its first season in the Big Ten. Not to say there haven't been challenges, but it's been a successful debut, to say the least.
Absolutely. They're a very well-balanced team. I think you're going to see that their offense is run very smoothly. Nebraska's that's Lauren Cook, who is the setter for the Huskers. They also have good defensive players, and they've got a variety of hitters, and set distribution is pretty even, although Gina Mancuso is their key left side player.
We are set, ready to go for the first serve from Williams Arena. Minnesota used to play volleyball in here and then moved over into the sports pavilion back in 1993, and then started in 2004 playing 1 match per year at Williams Arena. Tonight is the night. They call it the Battle in the Barn. And we'll see how different the atmosphere is. It's a raised court, which creates a different kind of visual. We'll kind of explain as we go along here. The first serve, though, Haley Cowles for Minnesota. We are underway in Minneapolis, but the serve is long, so the first point set one will go to Nebraska, and we'll see Lauren Cook, the junior setter from Lincoln, start things off for the Huskers.
It's certainly not the way you want to get started. If you're Minnesota, you want to get that first serve into a little bit of a rhythm.
Cook was last year's Big 12 newcomer of the year. Here's Taberson and Dixon into the double block. And now Harms will send it over. 3-ball for Nebraska, but a little miscommunication. And so each team starts up. I don't know if it's nerves or just maybe getting comfortable, getting settled.
Yeah, who knows, but sloppy play on both sides of the net so far, and I know the coaches are hoping that their teams will kind of get into the groove here in this third serve of the first set.
It'll be from Tori Dixon, received nicely by the Huskers. Right away, that swing, though, outside from Morgan Brookheis is long, and so we've seen some errors. We haven't yet to see a good rally and yet to see a really strong attack from either side of the net. 2-1 Minnesota early on. Dixon continues to serve. Cook goes right side, tipped over Mancuso, but saved nicely by Minnesota. And into the double block, Mancuso. And they'll say it's Nebraska's point.
Let's take a look at this nice get by Dixon. Look at how she keeps her wheels spinning and gets that ball up, but here is the kill. It goes off the blocker's hands and into the antenna, so point Nebraska.
That's impressive for Dixon at 6'3", too. The middle getting down. Oh, off the tape. Great serve from Mancuso.
Point Nebraska.
Gina Mancuso had 13 kills to lead Nebraska last night over Wisconsin in a sweep of the Badgers. Minnesota also won last night, sweeping Iowa. So both teams come in here on a win, and each would like to see a 2-0 weekend. Service long, another error.
Yeah, we're seeing the servers right now being very tentative. I think they're, at least for Nebraska, kind of getting used to their surroundings here. Minnesota with a clear advantage, having played in here and practiced in here a couple times. They should be a little bit smoother. We'll see what Taberson does with this serve.
Here's the setter, Taberson, for Minnesota. Right in the middle, but blocked by Minnesota. Tramer had that one, and now a double block on the attempt from Worth.
Well, when the ball is set this high and the play evolves so slowly, it really goes to the block in terms of advantage. And that time, Minnesota's block clearly lining up with Worth, and her not really swinging high off the blocker's hands, just really hitting it right into the belly of the block.
Nebraska will have to send this one over. Worth free ball. Attempt for Minnesota, and Harms split the block. Nice angle, but it's recovered. And Nebraska ends up with the kill.
Point Nebraska.
Both teams out of system, but Nebraska is the last team standing.
Well, it's important for teams to swing hard at balls that are out of system balls, and I think that really separates the great teams from the good teams. And Nebraska doing a good job on that broken play.
Laura Dykstra serves for Nebraska. And there's a kill for Minnesota from Catherine Harms. Harms had 10 kills last night against the Hawkeyes, tied for the team lead with Ashley Whitman.
Well, nice push by Taberson. She was clear on the right side of the court. And that ball all the way to the left side, and then Harms doing a good job of using her block.
There's a pretty big swing from Worth, and she found the deep corner. Hannah Worth has one of the best, I think, approaches and snaps and swings in the conference, probably in the nation. We haven't really even seen it yet.
No, we haven't seen it yet. She's very smooth out there, moves her feet so well. She's so light-footed. She goes from playing defense inside the court in that left area, shuffling her feet to the outside. I watch her move, and she's so smooth with her movements.
The second service error of the night for Nebraska. It's 6-5 Minnesota with Jessica Granquist, the libero, serving, and we have yet to see a really smooth rally from either team right there. Nice attempt at an up, but I thought it hit the floor, and they'll call it exactly that.
Right, Granquist, what a great defensive player she is. She tries to pancake this one, but it's a little too late. You're going to see how that ball hits the floor right before it hits her, the top of her hand there.
So Worth will serve. Taberson to Dixon, dug up, overpass, and Dixon sends it back. And going out the block, that's Mancuso.
Now let's talk about Laura Dykstra for Nebraska, the libero. She's keeping the ball in play on a couple of those rallies there, does a good job. But here you see the save. She's going to bump set it. Oh, we just missed it. She bump sets it high and in the perfect spot.
Taberson sets Dixon, and Dixon pounds that one down.
Dixon has great numbers. She hit 15 kills the other night. She's just a solid all-around player, especially her blocking game is just deadly.
Member of the Big Ten All-Freshman team last year. Mancuso dug by Granquist, and Taberson sets in the back row for Whitman. Now Nebraska again, Mancuso. And here's Dixon on the slide. And Dixon goes right out from Nebraska's double block.
If Dixon has a big night, Minnesota will do so well. She's deadly on transition. She's got quick feet. If she runs that slide, it'll open things up for the outside hitter. Minnesota's the type of team that has to have a balanced attack. The set distribution has to be distributed almost evenly with amongst three hitters. Of course, Whitman will get the majority of swings, but they need everybody involved in their offense.
Cowles on the attack for Minnesota. Nice dig in the back row. Cowles will tip it over. And now here's Cook, able to set it up for Mancuso. But a nice block from the Golden Gophers.
And that's what Dixon does so well. She reads the play. That time, you're going to see the ball was set inside for Nebraska. Mia Taberson lining up perfectly, and Dixon closing up that block.
Here's Catherine Harms. And a dump over from the setter, Lauren Cook. Caught Minnesota off guard. Nice play, nice recognition from Cook.
Right, and Dykstra is able to pass that ball perfectly up to Cook so she can jump set it or pretend she was jump setting it. And then that dump right behind her in that open spot in the left back area is so vital for her. She needs to score more on that. And for Minnesota, they need to recognize that that's where she likes to go with her dump and stop her.
Taberson sits right side in Harms, but Harms didn't clear the net, so it's a point for Nebraska. And it's just amazing looking at these 2 points. It's so basic in the game of volleyball, but when you have a good pass, your options, as we saw Cook with the dump or setting any of the three positions, if you have a good pass, you have all the options you need. It all starts with the pass, and it always has in volleyball. Look at Dixon on the slide. This is the same thing you talked about when that's there for Minnesota. This is a good team.
That's one thing that hasn't changed in the game. A lot of things have changed in this wonderful sport of volleyball. You see Dixon there going right in the seam of the block. You see Nebraska's block is moving and is not able to set up perfectly. You want to be stopped when that hitter is taking a swing on the ball and goes straight up and over. You don't want to reach out to the antenna.
It's a 10-9 Golden Gophers lead in set number one. Cowles serves. Quick into the middle, dug up nicely for Minnesota. Nebraska will have another chance at it. Cook to Mancuso. Granquist with the dig. Taberson the back row set to Harms. Now Cook goes back row. That was Brookheis. And a dig from Worth. Down the line. Nice touch on that ball, but it was too far outside, so it's point for Minnesota, but Mancuso had the right idea.
Yeah, this is the type of volleyball we are used to seeing in the Big Ten. Big rally, people going hard for the ball, and boy, that was about an inch too wide. That was great vision by Mancuso, just a little wide.
Great serve from Cowles, and it's a service ace.
That top spin serve just drops right in front. Oftentimes you've got to take a step into that serve in order to get the pass.
Minnesota has the lead 12-9 in set number one. Hey, Big Ten fans, you can get free programming alerts on your mobile phone. Be the first to know when your favorite coaches and players will appear on the Big Ten Network. Just text volleyball to 20284 or log on to btn.com/alerts. Message and data rates may apply. You see the pink shirts from the band there, and you can see them throughout Williams Arena. It's Dig Pink Night. And it's breast cancer awareness, and it was $1 admission for this battle in the barn. Some of the coaches are wearing pink, a lot of the fans. Players were out in their pink warm-ups earlier today. Minnesota will send it over from the back row, and here's Cook, the slide to Tramer. Now Mancuso into the double block, but it's kept alive. Mancuso will try it again. Taberson outside to Whitman. Howell sends it over. Back row for Worth, and that's long. A nice rally on each side, and it ends up with Hannah Worth just a little bit long.
What you're seeing is some good distribution of sets here. Both Cook and Taberson setting the ball all over the court, and there you see a nice Minnesota block reading the play, reaching nicely over the net.
Howell's serve is off the net. Mancuso got it down. Cowles could not come up with the dig, and Mancuso will get the kill to end the 4-0 Minnesota run.
Mancuso playing just great against Penn State in her first Big Ten match. You know, she's feeling the pressure. She is just starting to understand what it's like to play in the Big Ten. You've got to play your best match back-to-back nights. There's no rest. And she's just starting to get a feel for how intense this Big Ten conference is.
A little miscommunication on Nebraska's side, and Minnesota takes advantage. It was Ashley Whitman.
Well, Whitman had a one-person block in front of her. Nebraska's block got caught up in Minnesota's middle attack that was faked, and of course Mia pushed it all the way outside, giving her hitter a great opportunity to score.
Cook tipped over and back from Mancuso, and another tip from Nebraska. Taberson goes back row to Cowles. Now Cook with the dunk, saved nicely, great up from Harms. Whitman goes into the block. Nebraska rallies nicely. Here's the Minnesota Golden Gopher official head coach, who is not here tonight nor this season at all. Hugh McCutcheon, currently coaching Team USA. He'll be coaching the Olympians. In the Summer Olympics, he also coached the men's team in 2008 to a gold medal. It's an interesting situation with Laura Bush serving as the interim head coach, and Hugh McCutcheon, which is such a huge name in the sport of volleyball, will join the Golden Gophers in September after the Olympics. Off the block, Minnesota gets the point, leading 15-11. I talked to Laura Bush this week in practice, and she said this transition could not be any smoother.
Right, you know, she has been part of this program for a while. She knows how things are run. She's comfortable with these girls. So, you know, when she was named interim head coach, it was like, here we go, I'm going to work, you know. So she did not skip a beat, and she has been preparing this team wonderfully for this season.
Kept alive, Cook. Oh, and a nice angle from Morgan Brookheis. It just kind of rolled off the net and down for a point for Nebraska. And after spending 15 years in Minnesota, Mike Hebert retired, and then you have Laura Bush, who's the only remaining member from Mike Hebert's staff on as the interim. She essentially is the transition from one head coach to the other. Another kill from Whitman.
Now Whitman, I like how mature she has gotten from last year to this year in terms of her playing game. She is taking a little bit of heat off of her shots and going high off the blocker's hands. She's burying it when she's given the opportunity. So she has gotten so much better from her freshman year, and she was really darn good as a freshman.
And there you saw a little bit of what Hannah Worth can do as well. And you'll note the differences in attacks at some point from Worth and Whitman. Whitman's looks so much more intentional. And I say slow, but I don't mean it in a negative way, whereas Worth is just power from start to finish. And it's interesting to watch the two outsides in this game. Taberson took the first hit in the dig. So out of system, Minnesota recovers nicely and gets the point.
And Cook has got to be a little disappointed with his defense when that ball goes off the tape. Boy, you've got to track that ball down. The hit was slowed down by the top of the tape, and you've got to run them down for your backcourt defensive player.
Taberson again plays the first hit. Harms sends it over. And another less than impressive point, but a point is a point. Minnesota leads 18-13.
Well, Harms out of system here. The ball gets set to her, and what a great shot deep in the cross-court corner. Mancuso needs to go hard for those balls. You got to take a step to the ball and go after it hard, or your coach is going to yank you.
That's good recognition of Harms to know where Nebraska had a little bit of a hole in the defense. Be sure to follow us all season long on Twitter, twitter.com/BTN Volleyball. You'll get the latest news. Plus, you can send in questions about anything in the world of Big Ten volleyball. Go to twitter.com/BTN Volleyball. Audrey will be answering your question tonight, as you have done throughout the season. And getting in touch with the viewers out there who want to know about Big Ten volleyball. Nebraska, by the way, travels so well. And it's like a 6.5 hour drive from Lincoln to Minneapolis. It's a good weekend destination. You open up the barn, you have more seating, and so we're seeing a pretty good red contingent here in Minneapolis tonight.
That's right, and they would sure like to see their team play a little bit more aggressively. At the beginning of this first set, we saw some serve-receive errors, and now really not going so hard for balls defensively.
The Nebraska Cornhuskers have won 3 national championships. They made the NCAA tournament 29 straight years. They produced 3 Olympians. The last national championship came in '06. And that is the reason why this Nebraska team has such a following. Sell out those home games at the Coliseum, and they bring fans on the road. And these are new destinations, too, for a lot of these fans. In Madison last night, in Minneapolis tonight. Getting used to all the travel and the different accommodations in the Big Ten, but Nebraska has made a great transition thanks to players like Hannah Worth, because the Huskers are undefeated in the conference, 7-0 as of tonight.
Yeah, Worth, what a great shot. Again, she gets off her feet so quickly. It's the last 2 steps of her approach. She just elevates so well and then just hammering the ball.
And she'll sub out Shelby Winkleman, who will come in to serve defensive specialist freshman from Rhineland, Missouri.
It's an interesting substitution since Worth was last year's defensive player of the year in the Big 12, so she'll be sitting it out in the backcourt.
Next dig from the Huskers. Taverson back to Harms. And now Cook. On the outside, Mancuso. Angles that she's able to utilize are so impressive.
You know, if you're Minnesota, though, you want to work in tips. Right now, the tips are just too easy. And Nebraska's defense, and it was Dykstra in that play, is able to run the ball down. It's like a free ball, and they're transitioning and scoring out of that. So Minnesota, although ahead, they need to keep swinging to stay ahead in this first set.
Gophers recover. Cook will go on the slide to Brooke Delano. Double block from the Huskers. Catherine Harms went right into that strong, solid block from Nebraska, and the ball came right back.
Yeah, Delano's a force to be reckoned with. Look at her get up there, nice and wide. And she was there early because the ball was set from the backcourt. It was like a moon ball, which you do want those broken plates to be set higher. You want them 5 feet off the net and 5 feet in from the sideline as high as you can. But then as a hitter, you got to swing high and hard, not right in the belly of the block.
Gives your blockers a lot of time to get set up. Minnesota's offense tonight has been pretty impressive, and it's this Golden Gophers team that gets working so well and they get into a rhythm and was off to a good start tonight.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of times when they're swinging, there's a seam in the block or there's only one block. So Nebraska needs to be a little bit more disciplined with their blocking assignments. And as the match goes on, they'll look at the stats and they'll see what Minnesota's set distribution looks like. And the kid that's getting the most swings at the ball is who the blockers for Nebraska will focus on. So we'll see if they clean up their blocking assignments a little bit in this first set.
Nebraska comes in ranked 5th in the country. Minnesota is 14th. And this is the 7th time this season Nebraska has played a top 25 opponent. Had the misstep early on against Colorado State, who at the time was number 15. That was back on September 2nd, a 3-2 loss for the Huskers. But that is it for the season, 14-1. Overall, beat number 5 Penn State on September 21st. That was a 5-set match. Number 24 Ohio State. Swept number 11 Michigan, at the time number 11. on October 1st, beat number 11 Purdue the following week. It was then number 11, obviously. So there's been some very good competition. The Big Ten is all over the top 25. Nebraska fits really well into this conference and volleyball domination really in the country. Nice swing from Catherine Harms.
Well, there you see the set was a little bit lower. It got to Harms quicker. And you're going to see how fast she is getting up off the ground. Here you see it's nice seam there. And what a line shot. Boy, she just ripped that one. That was Catherine Harms.
Laura Dykstra was on the receiving end, but when you only have one block and you're able to go straight down the line on the outside of the block, you have a lot of room to work with. Taverson to Dixon on the slide. That's a little wide.
You know, but I like how involved Dixon is in the offense. When I saw Minnesota's team play earlier in the year, she wasn't getting near the attempts that I foresee she's going to get. I think that's one of the things that Laura Bush wants to work into this offense is spreading the ball out a little bit. Dixon is a deadly hitter. She'll keep getting the ball, and she will deliver some kills for her team.
Paige Hubble serves for Nebraska. Dixon again. Nebraska got a piece of it. Mancuso. Good kill on the outside from Gina Mancuso, the 2008 Gatorade National Player of the Year from Nebraska. John Cook has 511 career wins. He picked up number 500 last month and number 350 with the Huskers just last night in Madison against his former team, the Badgers. It's a 5-1 Nebraska run right now, make it 6-1 for the Cornhuskers.
A bad pass by Minnesota. It's too tight to the net, and a good timeout call by Laura Bush to get momentum back on her side. We'll see what they do out of this timeout.
The Huskers have tied it up 19-all in Minneapolis. This week on BTN.com, don't miss any exciting volleyball action. Go to video.btn.com this week and check out our upcoming volleyball schedule. Video.btn.com is where you'll find all of the information for the live event streaming. Plenty of volleyball action on the Big Ten Network this season. We have good matches and good matchups like this one, and here we are tied in set number 1 at 19. And I just saw a baby. We're going to go close. What's happening here?
I saw that too.
Here's Nebraska. Some of the highlights from tonight from your undefeated Big Ten team.
Yeah, you see Mancuso on the left side here, and she tends to hit line, tip line, hit high off the blocker's hands. See, she swings there from the middle of the court to the right side is where that ball tends to go. So we'll see if any adjustments are made from Minnesota's defense, both the front court blockers and the back court defense. We'll see if they shift to the right a little bit.
The Golden Gophers are probably pretty relieved to just be at home and be in this city because this weekend would be just the 5th and 6th home matches of the entire season for Minnesota. They've spent some heavy travel time on the front half of the season. This is the first time they've been home since September 23rd and 25th.
Right, 2 weekends on the road, which is kind of uncommon in the Big Ten because usually you're on the road for a weekend and then you're home. But you know the travel schedule has changed slightly here in the Big Ten, and so they found themselves on the road 2 weekends back to back. That's pretty tough.
So it's 19-19 in the first set. Paige Hubble will serve, the junior from Lincoln. Taverson has options. She'll go outside to Cowles, dug up nicely by Worth. Mancuso uses the Minnesota block right up at Taverson.
Nebraska doing some interesting substitutions here. We've got number 6, Jordan Wilberger in, replacing Cook just to give a bigger block on the outside, and then you see Nebraska terminating on that play.
And we'll see that once in a while because Cook is 5'8", and gives a decent block, but obviously at 5'8", you can only do so much. And so we'll see her here. Wilberger sets up Mancuso, little roll shot. Back set to Harms. That is wide, so it's a point for the Huskers.
And you don't have to stuff block the ball as long as you slow the ball down, and that's exactly what Nebraska's blocking team is doing right now. They're slowing the ball down, and the backcourt's able to dig it up, and they transition and score. Good game plan by Cook.
Give your team a chance to play the ball. Taverson, Harms. Nice shot from Harms. Hubble couldn't get to it. Catherine Harms will get Minnesota the point, 21-20.
Boy, every time they need a kill, they go to this kid, and why not? Nebraska's block started way inside, and so Harms has all kinds of room to hit that line shot. And as a lefty, that's her strong side, the right side of the court, and she's just ripping the ball line.
Haley Cowles serves and into the net, and that, you never want to do that, but when you're looking at 21-20 and now 22-20, that's a tough time for a service error.
Yeah, when you're trying to close out a match here, it's the tail end of the first set, you want to make sure you're eliminating your unforced errors, so you have to play aggressively. You want to go for it on the end line, but you got to be cautious. You don't want to give the team, your opponent, easy points.
Whitman! Ashley Whitman had a great set from Taverson, and Whitman just took care of that. The only freshman in the nation last year to average more than 3 kills and 3 digs per set. She is talented and can play all 6 positions very well for Minnesota. Dixon serves. Cook back into set for the Huskers. And there's Whitman again, but that time it's long. No touch from the Huskers, so they'll take it and serve at 23-21. This will be Mancuso, junior from Omaha. Nice pass to Taverson. Whitman on the outside. Into the double block. Blocked out, it couldn't see from the angle.
Yeah, it was blocked and it went out of bounds, but great composure by Whitman. You know, she made an error on the previous play, so to come back and score one speaks volumes.
Taverson serves, nice short serve. Worth, Granquist digs it. And Whitman again. Boy, go to Ashley Whitman when you need a point for Minnesota.
Yeah, she's playing with a lot of confidence right now. You know, you're not going to get every kill, but when you make a mistake like she did previously, or I guess 2 plays before that, can you come back and score big? And that's exactly what Whitman's doing. She's calling for the ball on the outside.
We saw the middle blocker a little bit late for Nebraska as well. Whitman took full advantage. There's Worth. Wow. We talked about how she can get up and her approach and her swing, and that is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I love to see her competitive nature. You know, the look on her face, she has that determined look to get this set. She turns around to her teammates and says, let's get this one right now. I love that look in a hitter.
Set points for Nebraska. Granquist. Well, decent attempt for Minnesota after the tough pass. And now Worth. It's blocked by Minnesota.
This is what Big Ten volleyball is all about. Back and forth. I feel like this could really go either way. It's going to be the team that attacks the ball hard. It usually comes down to the left side hitters, and the one that makes the fewest errors here.
Cook, blocked by Minnesota. The attack from Morgan Brookheis was right into the Golden Gophers block, and so now Minnesota will have a chance at set point.
Minnesota seems to be picking on number 7, Gina Mancuso, and serve receive. We'll see where Whitman goes.
Cook, quick set and a quick point. Brooke Delano got up.
You know, she's so quiet. I don't think she's gotten a set yet in this first set, and then she comes through with this 31, just rocking it. Creams the ball cross court. Man, she is one physical player, 6'4" middle for Nebraska.
And at a critical time, too. We're back tied at 25. Serve from Brookheis. Taverson in a quick middle and a tip. What a recovery from the Huskers, but it's long. Nebraska did a great job to keep that ball alive, got it back over the net, but Minnesota let it go out of bounds. Good recognition and awareness from those 2 back players for Minnesota. Granquist will serve with a chance to win the set. And Cook goes to Worth. Minnesota gets a piece of it. They'll set it up again to Worth. And that was touched by the Golden Gophers. So Hannah Worth will tie this game up again at 26.
What I like in outside hitters is when they get blocked, they transition off the net quickly. They come in strong and they hit an even harder second attack. That's exactly what Hannah Worth did. The ball was nicely recovered by her team, good coverage, and then she swings hard and deep.
And Worth subs out again as well. Winkleman is in. Taverson sets for Harms, and Catherine Harms cuts that one. 27-26 Minnesota.
Well, she has been unstoppable. It's great to see this kid play so well. There's that seam in the block, and I wouldn't be surprised if Nebraska's block focuses on her a little bit more. She seems to be a key hitter for Minnesota.
Mia Taverson now has 15 assists in this set. Mancuso just straight down. Neither team will give an inch. This is a great rally. A few different attempts for each side at set point, and nobody's giving in.
That's right, and this is what you gotta love about Big Ten volleyball. It's tight, it goes down to the wire. In this first set, we're seeing a great competitive set.
Dixon, wow, did she get up over that block from Nebraska?
Well, Mancuso, as good as she is as a hitter right now, it seems like Minnesota's offense is running over top of her. Her block seems to be lacking a little bit right now. A lot of Minnesota's offense is being run from the right side of the court.
Cowles will serve. Cook goes to Mancuso. Minnesota gets a piece of it. Taverson to Whitman. Oh, and the net.
Well, I saw Nebraska's block take off to the right side of Minnesota's court because that's where all the sets have been going, and that ball was released to the outside. There you see Nebraska's middle blocker going the wrong way, and then Whitman making an untimely error for her team.
Tied at 28. Cook serves. Taverson to Whitman. And a seam in that block, and Whitman found it. So it's set point again for Minnesota, 29-28.
It's interesting to see if Nebraska will maintain their composure. This has been a great first set. We'll see if they let them off the hook here easy or not.
Here's Dixon serving. Nearly an ace serve, but Nebraska recovers. Here goes Whitman. What a dig from Worth. Taverson will get another chance at it. So will Whitman, and there it is. Set point for the Golden Gophers. They finally win it at 30-28.
Wow.
Rallies back and forth, ties back and forth, several attempts at set point, and finally it goes to the home team. The Minnesota Golden Gophers take the first set 30-28 over the Huskers. After 15 ties and 7 lead changes, Minnesota took set number 1 at the Sports Pavilion from Nebraska, 30-28. We are getting set for set number 2, but first we look at how the Big Ten is all over in the top 25. 7 different teams are ranked. Illinois is tops in the nation. Nebraska is 5th. Penn State, Purdue, Minnesota comes in number 14 this week. You also have Michigan and Ohio State. That's a good conference of volleyball right there.
It absolutely is, and a lot of people that have played Michigan State have said that they believe Michigan State should be ranked in the top 25. They're a very tough opponent, and so yes, from top to bottom, this conference is deadly. You've got to be prepared every time you play. It's one of those conferences where it could really go either way. I feel like whoever wins the title won't be undefeated in this conference. I think something's going to give in the top of the rankings here.
And right now we have 2 undefeated Big Ten teams. Nebraska is one, Illinois is the other, and they play each other next weekend. So one of them definitely will have a loss, and Nebraska is currently down 1-0 here in Minnesota. So we'll see if the Huskers can bounce back or if Minnesota can end this streak of 12 consecutive losses to Nebraska. But if the first set was any indication, it will be a hard-fought battle. Back and forth we went with 7 different lead changes and 15 ties.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you expect when these two teams go head-to-head. I don't think one team is going to pull away and be in the lead for a long period of time. I think it's going to be good side-out volleyball, lead changes going throughout, and tough swings on both sides of the net.
Lauren Cook will start us off in set number 2 for Minneapolis. Taverson will use Harms right away. Double block kept alive, and Minnesota will send it over. Nice recovery from the Gophers. Now a little tip out of the middle, and good recognition from Haley Trainer. Nice touch on that ball.
Yeah. Here we're going to see the little attack that goes over. You know, they play a perimeter defense, all the teams do, and so that means that the middle of the court is really susceptible to tips, and that's good vision by Trainer to see where exactly to put the ball.
Dixon off the block. Nice set all the way back. That set went to Brookheis for Nebraska. The Huskers will give it another try here. Mancuso down the line. Taverson there to get the points.
Yeah, it seems like that's her favorite shot and a natural swing for her. She does a good job of jumping, facing cross court, turning her shoulders and her hips when she's in the air, and just buries it down the line.
Taverson has to chase that a little bit, but gives a back row set. And how about the recovery from Nebraska? Whitman dug nicely from Cook, but out of bounds. Little tipped at it from Lauren Cook.
That's right, and Dykstra was going for the ball, but here's the thing about playing in this arena. The floor is elevated, and she almost felt like she was going to run off the edge of the earth there if she went for the ball. So Cook called her off, and they just say, let's give that point, and let's keep our libero healthy.
And that is something you have to be aware of in this building. The floor is raised about 2 feet, and even when you practice in here, there's something mentally as you're running for a ball, knowing you're not just going to crash into the crowd. You could actually fall off the edge of the court.
Yeah, it does take a while to get used to. I think you have to get over it, though, and you have to go hard for balls, and then trust that your coaches are going to catch you if you go off the court here, but you got to go hard for balls.
Mancuso finds an open spot from Minnesota, and it's a 3-2 Nebraska lead. And there you see the elevated court, the historic barn here at Williams Arena, just a couple of feet up, where the players and coaches are up on the court. Obviously the players who are playing, but I mean the subs as well. But there's that open area in the back on the baselines. So it's an interesting little addition, little nugget in this game, in this match, that I'm not sure really how it affects, but at least it's equal for both teams.
Absolutely. There you saw Filio with a nice tip. It seems like both of these teams are keeping the defense honest by working in some tips, making sure that the teams are not settling in back on their heels on defense.
Tramer was well along, so Minnesota will take the point and take the lead 4-3.
Yeah, Tramer's getting subbed out. We're going to see Jordan Wilberger, number 6 for Nebraska, coming. You just can't have those types of errors where you're hitting the ball weak and out of bounds. You've got to swing hard at this point in the match. You know, it can go either way. You've got to eliminate those unforced errors.
Taverson serves from Minnesota. Quick set from Lauren Cook, and she utilizes Wilberger. Jordan Wilberger got the kill and subs out for the Huskers.
It's always nice when you come in and you do something positive. Your coach definitely jots that down and remembers that. We'll see if she gets the nod when she rotates, or when the libero rotates to the front row, if she gets the nod to come back in.
Worth goes off the top of the Minnesota block. Hannah Worth, who comes from such an athletic family. Her brother is Jason Worth, who played for the Dodgers, the Phillies, now the Nationals, won a World Series a couple of years ago with the Phillies. Her sister was a track athlete at UCLA. Her mom was in the Olympic trials in track. Her dad played 4 years with the Yankees and the Royals. I didn't have enough time to read the family biography.
Yeah, you know what? You can tell that she's got a special gift. That athleticism that she has is different from the other athletes out there. Her first 2 steps are so quick, and I think that's what makes her such a great defensive player, is that first step toward the ball is so quick. What a fantastic athlete.
John Cook is happy to have her on his team. Serving for the Cornhuskers, this is Morgan Brooke-Heiss. Whitman will step in to set. And for Nebraska on the slide, it's Delano. Minnesota will counter, big swing from Catherine Harms. And there is Worth. Out of transition, but Minnesota handles it well. The Golden Gophers will come away with the points. And a rally that wasn't really clean on either side.
Yeah, but it gets terminated by Minnesota, and you got to take the ones you can get. And so far, that right side attack, no matter who's swinging for Minnesota, seems to be scoring. So we'll see if they continue with that game plan. It's working so far.
Worth just pounds it into the Minnesota block. Out of bounds for a Nebraska point.
There's a good crowd here tonight, but the energy is so low.
It is.
It's just, you're waiting.
It's unusual.
Yeah, you're waiting for like a breakout play for these people to go crazy. It's pretty packed. It's a good showing tonight, but pretty quiet.
It's the battle in the barn and the one match per year that the Gophers play in this building. They draw pretty well over in the pavilion, nearly 4,000 per game, 4th in the country in attendance, behind Nebraska, who's number 3. Block from Minnesota, that'll get the fans up a little bit.
Yeah, and that's a swing that I'm not used to seeing from Mancuso. Usually she goes high and hard, but a good blocking adjustment there by Minnesota to take away that line shot that she likes.
And I said Nebraska and Minnesota are 3 and 4 in the country. It's actually 2 and 3 in attendance behind Hawaii. So Nebraska's number 2 at 4,800 fans. Minnesota has 3,900 on average at the pavilion, but again, the bigger crowds. And Laura Bush, I was talking to her this week, was saying she likes the energy. It's a big stage. It feels like a big match. It is a big match. It's Nebraska and Minnesota. Paige Hubble serves it up for the Huskers. Taverson to Dixon. And Dixon, who was a middle, was out of position and was seeing the Huskers attempt to go over the scorer's table there, but you have to use some caution at Williams Arena. The Huskers do. So it's a point Minnesota.
Take a look at this. As a defensive player, you want to go outside the shadow of the block, and you want to be stopped and ready with your hips facing into the court. You almost want your back and your backside to be on the sideline, so all your movement is going into the court. That time, a little misposition there by the defense for Nebraska causes her to dig the ball off the court instead of keeping it in the court.
Overpass. Saved by the Huskers. Impressive on Nebraska's side. Taverson to catch them out of position, though, and Mia Taverson sends it right back over. The setter gets the kill.
When the setter's front row, she can be an attacker. And here you see her going up. That's Mia Taverson. She's got one block on her. The wing defensive players need to be down low and ready. That's the first person who can attack the ball. It shouldn't catch you off guard. You've got to be communicating and know when that setter is up.
Whitman, dug, I'm pretty sure, by the shoulder of Worth. Battle at the net. The Huskers will try it again. Interesting setup there as Mancuso sends it over. Now Whitman into the net. Attack error from Ashley Whitman. And it'll be a point for the Huskers.
Now we're taking a look at Hannah Worth here playing some defense, getting the ball up. Look at that. I like how she plays in on the court. That's really courageous. A lot of middle backs play with their heels on the end line, but she comes in, she's not worried about taking that ball hard. I like how gutsy she is in the backcourt.
She is the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year from last season, which is odd to see not someone who is not a libero receive that award. Taverson to Dixon, and Tori Dixon takes care of that, going on the slide with a pretty wide open net to work with.
Well, as a middle blocker, if you get fooled, that's one thing, but you can't give up. I am a firm believer that if you go one direction, you get fooled, go and put up some sort of a block so at least your defense can play around you or play the big seam. I just think you can't give up, and that's what Nebraska's middle blocker did. She went in the wrong direction and then did not make an attempt at the ball at all, was just flat-footed.
The Huskers could not handle the serve from Dixon. So Minnesota takes the 11-10 lead here in set number 2. The Gophers took set number 1, 30-28. Better pass that time, but the attack is out of bounds. Jordan Wilbur sent it wide. So Minnesota needs to take advantage here of Nebraska playing a little bit hesitant, making some errors here and there. It doesn't look like the Huskers team we've seen throughout the season.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any substitutions that are made here pretty quick. We've got a couple people on the bench that might get a chance to prove themselves.
Nice up from Cook. Mancuso sends it over, and Cowles goes to the floor. Pushed over, stepping into set, Wilberger. Oh, nice save from Minnesota out of the back row. Cowles got a hand on it, and the Gophers could not save it from there. Impressive play, though, from Haley Cowles.
Yeah, defense is an attitude, and Cowles has got an attitude there going after the ball. But boy, oh boy, how disappointing that somebody didn't get that ball and just free ball it over the net and try to block and dig for a point. But 2 people went hard after the ball. They need the 3rd person to commit as well.
Slide. Ariana Filio, we haven't called her name much at all tonight, but Filio took the set from Taverson and got the point for Minnesota.
Yeah, it's a battle between middles right now, and Nebraska's middles struggling to get some closing blocks. They're getting fooled. It's hard to read Minnesota because they do have a pretty diverse offense, and they spread that ball out, but you've got to make an attempt to close the block.
Brooke Heiss with back-to-back attempts and back-to-back blocks from Minnesota. So Brooke Heiss with that left-handed swing went into Minnesota's block twice, and the Golden Gophers come away with the point. They lead at 14-11.
You kind of get a sense that Cook is waiting for a leader to emerge and kind of change things. They seem really flat right now. Everyone's staring straight ahead. Nobody's really talking to one another.
Outside to Worth. Taverson back set to Harms. And here's Whitman, a strong swing, but an even stronger block. Credit Morgan Brooke Heiss was that one to end the 5-1 Minnesota run.
Yeah, I think it got blocked out of bounds, so point to Minnesota.
Minnesota gets the point. The call is out of bounds off the block, so it's 15-11 Golden Gophers. 15-11, Minnesota leads Nebraska in set number 2. Coming up on Wednesday, rivals square off with Michigan State. Will take on 20th ranked Michigan. It's the Wolverines and the Spartans Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. Presented by Pure Silk, only on the BTN Network. Somebody loves Ashley Whitman. And a lot of people love Big Red here. Nebraska brought a great contingent to Minneapolis. But right now they're seeing a 6-1 run by the Golden Gophers.
Yeah,
it's
Nebraska
the Whitman fan club.
Yeah, exactly. Nebraska's playing a little flat here in this second set. Cook calls a timeout. We'll see if they can.
Well, that didn't help. An overpass from the Huskers. So if you're Nebraska, you need to figure out a way to clean this up. But if you're Minnesota, you want to push as hard as you can right now.
Well, absolutely. You got to get them while they're down. And Nebraska, again, out of rhythm here. And it all starts from a pass. I asked Coach Cook, how much time does he spend serving and passing? And he said it's never enough. You could work on serving and passing for 2 straight hours and it wouldn't be enough. It's such a vital component. And right now they're kind of in serve-receive struggles.
Worth, nice dig from Granquist from Minnesota. And finally, Nebraska ends this run. It was 7-1 for Minnesota.
So now if you're Minnesota, you've got a nice lead. You want to get this side out and continue scoring points.
Laura Dykstra serves for Nebraska. Service error. Probably the worst thing you can do after ending a rally like that.
Yeah, and Cook, his face is, he's trying to remain neutral, but I can only imagine what is going on between his head right now.
We'll have a timeout from the scorer's table. One of the officials is discussing something with the scorer's table over there. We see 17-12 on the scoreboard in set number 2. Just checking on a rotation issue. Nebraska will try to gather and rally. And Minnesota is just trying to get a 2-0 lead heading into the break.
You're not quite sure at this point whose rotation they're looking at right now. We're pointing at Nebraska's side, talking to Coach Cook.
While they figure that out, let's mention this series between these two teams, because Nebraska has dominated, winning 12 consecutive over Minnesota. The last meeting was 2 years ago in 2009. It was a 3-2 Cornhuskers win. The last time Minnesota won a match in this series was October 4th, 1980.
Yeah, that's
a long time.
That's when they played to 15 points, and it wasn't
You only scored when you served, right
side. A long time ago, right.
The last time Nebraska even played a match here in Minnesota was 2005. Nebraska was number 1 at the time. Minnesota was number 6. And Nebraska won that match 3-2. Overall, the series is heavily in the Cornhuskers' favor, 27-4, including 12 straight. And these teams will be seeing so much more of each other now that the Cornhuskers are in the Big Ten. And based on the programs and the program's history and the way that Minnesota has surged over the last 10 years in volleyball, this should continually be one of the top matchups in the Big Ten.
Well, absolutely. I think Minnesota has proven themselves to be dominant not only in the conference but nationally. Nebraska is the same. They have dominated their conference, and now they're walking into the Big Ten. And although people respect Nebraska, they certainly don't want them to clean up their first year here in the conference. So every team gets excited when Nebraska comes to their place to play, and Minnesota is no different.
Absolutely.
They want to knock one off of them here tonight, and I know Illinois would sure appreciate it if Minnesota could take a match from Nebraska.
And I think it will be a great treat for a lot of the Big Ten teams to be able to play in Lincoln at that facility, at the Coliseum, with the atmosphere and the fans. Not only is it interesting to watch Nebraska travel to all these other Big Ten cities, but to have these Big Ten schools be able to go to Lincoln and experience what the football team brings. The volleyball atmosphere is just incredible. You and I will be there next weekend. You were there earlier this season in Lincoln. That is a volleyball paradise.
Absolutely. It's just so exciting to play there, and it's tough to play there, but you ask any team, would they rather play at Nebraska, or would they rather play somewhere where there's not a lot of people that are hostile and against them, and they will say, we want to play at Nebraska. The atmosphere there is great. The Coliseum is historical and wonderful to play in, and I'm telling you what, people look forward to playing at Nebraska.
We'll be there next weekend. That building just has a lot of memories, a lot of great moments. The old basketball team, look at those wooden baskets. And now they pack it with volleyball fans. Those 3 national championships, the fans are on top of you.
Right.
And the atmosphere is electric.
Yeah,
Nebraska volleyball.
They pack it with fans, and they pack it with wonderful banners.
Those are always nice.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, John Cook, what a great program he has created there, and he's so lucky. Nebraska club volleyball is so strong. You look at his roster, and he gets a lot of kids from his home state, so kids walk into Nebraska wanting to play for the Huskers, and it's so much easier when you can recruit in-state, and Nebraska club volleyball is second to none.
They're checking on a substitution error, allegedly, by the Cornhuskers. And now the official is talking with the captains from each team, getting this straightened out. Had about a 5-minute stoppage in play right now while they figure out the substitution. It's always interesting that it's another thing that's changed with volleyball is when, back in the day when I played, I don't know about you, Audrey, but when play had to stop, you had to meet at the line, the official had to take out his or her little card, insert your number, whatever, and then wave you through. Now you just kind of pause for a second, run in, and everybody understands and knows, and you make a little mark on the paper and you keep going, and there's you hardly miss a beat. It's so quick now.
Right, they tried to speed up the game, and they tried to make it more viewer-friendly and more TV-friendly, and I think they have. I think the changes are outstanding, and it's really catchy. I think people that watch volleyball for the first time are hooked. It's a fast-moving game. You know, sometimes I watch baseball and I watch some other sports, and I always joke with my husband, I'm like, it's so slow. You know, my daughter plays soccer. It's like, oh, there's no points. My goodness. You know, this is a fast-moving game and one that fans can quickly pick up and appreciate those points every 10 to 15 seconds.
Nebraska has been struggling as Minnesota continues to rack up the points, now leading 19-12 and up 1 set to none on a 10-2 run right now for the Golden Gophers. And it seems like anything John Cook has done, whether it's a substitution or a 5-minute break checking on a substitution, a timeout, he just has not been able to light a fire under his team.
No, they are really flat, and it's such a different team than I saw play at home. You know, when I watched Nebraska, boy, they were just going at it. Great communication, lots of movement, not just communication when things are going well, but making adjustments on the fly. And I'm just not seeing that. There's really not a person with a spark. Just an interesting dynamic right now. They're going to have to turn it around, or Minnesota's going to make a quick one of them tonight.
And some of it you would think is getting used to a schedule where you play a lot of back-to-back weekend games. They were in Madison last night, but that's how it is. Minnesota played last night, didn't travel, but
and when you're a coach, it's no excuses. I mean, he will not accept that. He wants his team to come out and play hard. And the Nebraska team, what's interesting about them is they do play well as a unit, and they all have to play well in order to beat top teams. It's not a one-man show out there, and right now, unfortunately, all of the girls are kind of having a bad game.
That doesn't happen very often on a team as elite as Nebraska, but you're right. Well, that might help the Huskers. Ashley Whitman serve goes into the net, so it's a service error and a point for Nebraska at a critical time. See, Laura Bush is a little frustrated with that. And so it will be Morgan Brookheis serving for the Huskers. She hits the tape, but that one goes over, and that's an ace. The difference half an inch can make.
Yeah, a lucky one there. You're going to see it again. It just trickles over the net. You know, there is a short, deep serving game that teams will play, you know, serving the ball short, but that was clearly a lucky play. They serve the ball short and kind of get the passers to move up, and then they'll serve it deep. Time again, Nebraska just being very lucky to get that point.
Nebraska gets another point as Minnesota had a couple of clearing under the net and in the net, and both were missed, and they were completely out of sorts, and finally the play ended, and Nebraska ends up with a point anyway and closes in now 19-15. So the Huskers are starting to come alive and hoping to rally in set number 2. Minnesota continues to put on the pressure. We are flashing back to September 21st in Lincoln at the Coliseum. Number 5 Penn State visited Nebraska, and the Huskers won sets 1 and 2. Penn State came back to win sets 3 and 4, and then the Huskers won it in 5. And Audrey, you were there for this.
Yeah, it was a match to remember, and I won't forget it. It was fantastic. I'm telling you what, the Nebraska team was hitting on all cylinders. They proved themselves to be a top-ranked team, not only nationally, but a team that was going to be a force to be reckoned with here in the Big Ten, and that's exactly what they're proving themselves to be so far in the conference. Just a well-coached team. They really need to get after it tonight.
Big swing from Minnesota, from Catherine Harms, and they say it was touched by the Huskers. So Minnesota will take that point up 20-15. Jessica Granquist, the libero, senior from Blaine, Minnesota, serving last year's Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. So we'll see a couple of reigning Defensive Players of the Year. That was the other one right there, Hannah Worth, playing offensively right there.
Well, Hannah Worth has to come alive right now, too. In the backcourt, needs to play tough defense. Cuso just rotated to the left front area. So really, those hitters in the front row have to take big swings at the ball.
Shelby Winkleman comes in to serve once again for Worth. Nice block by Brooke Delano. The middle got up for Nebraska and sent it right back down.
Well, an interesting step by Minnesota. You know, Delano is the strongest blocker, and they ran this pattern right into her, so she really didn't have to move at all. So Taverson not really the smartest choice. Make the big kid on the other side of the net move.
Service error from Winkleman. Worth is back in to play. Minnesota leading 21-17. Trying to close out set number 2 and take a 2-0 lead into the break. Overpass is taken care of by Delano. So on back-to-back plays, Delano has been at the center of things.
Yeah, that ball was going over the net. She didn't have to move too far to get that. She just took a nice little shuffle step, got her hands on the ball, and then muscled it through.
The Huskers have been lurking in this set. Critical points here as we near the end of set number 2. Paige Hubble serves. Taberson. That is long from Harms. And they'll call a net violation on number 7, Gina Mancuso. And what a break for the Golden Gophers. After what should have been Nebraska's point, Mancuso the violation, and so a 22-18 lead for the Golden Gophers. Dumped over by the Huskers. Whitman. Little shot dug from Dykstra. Taberson to Whitman. Ashley Whitman got on top of that one. 23-18.
Yeah, a good defensive read by Whitman. Hannah Worth took the ball. She released from blocking, played the ball nicely, and then shuffled to the outside, couple shuffle steps, and then approached hard, swung good for her team.
A critical point for Minnesota. Now just 2 points away from taking this set. Here's a look at it again. And Whitman with just one blocker.
Yeah, it's one block, and it's a small block at that. It's Lauren Cook. You know, last set we saw Coach Cook substitute her out, not because she was doing anything wrong, but to just put a bigger block in front of Whitman's face. And so we'll see if he adjusts or makes that adjustment here. Certainly would challenge Whitman a little bit more.
So John Cook takes the timeout. Minnesota took set number 1 by the score of 30-28. Back and forth with lead changes, ties, 15 lead changes, 7 ties to be exact in the first set. Now the second set has been pretty much all Minnesota, but with Nebraska kind of just hanging and hanging and hanging. And 9 kills for Nebraska in this set, 8 errors. So that tells you how the Huskers are playing right there.
Yeah, you know, the offense is not being run very well right now, and it's so surprising. It's unlike Lauren Cook. Usually she is just very on, and the offense runs so well. So, you know, they're just a little out of sorts, and I think they will take advantage of the break after the second set and regroup.
Cowles serves for Minnesota. A set to Wilberger, but it's handled by the Gophers, and here comes Whitman. And it's right off of Morgan Brookhuis. Down the line, nice use of the line, cutting around the block for Ashley Whitman. And so here is Minnesota staring at set point in set number 2, threatening to take a 2-0 lead over the 5th-ranked, undefeated in the conference, Cornhuskers. But not if Mancuso has anything to say about it. Gina Mancuso gets the point for the Huskers. Lauren Cook, the setter, will now serve. 24-19. It's handled by Cowles. Dixon with the tip and the touch. And Tori Dixon takes care of things for Minnesota. The Golden Gophers come storming out into the barn. They took set number 1 30-28, and they take set number 2 25-19. So the Golden Gophers at Williams Arena are going to head into the break, leading Nebraska, who is 14-1, 7-0 in the Big Ten, up 2-0. Let's head over to Audrey with interim head coach Laura Bush.
Well, Coach, your thoughts of the match so far? Well, we're playing hard. Both teams are playing hard. I didn't know what was going to happen after that long extended referee talk, but the team came out and played well. And I thought we got better in the second set in our serving game after we had a shaky start, and the offense is starting to click.
So what's your message to the girls in the locker room?
It's 0-0. Brand new game, brand new match. It's 0-0.
Well, good luck. Go get them, Coach.
There's interim head coach Laura Bush saying it will be 0-0 for the Golden Gophers, in their minds anyway. The important thing is that on the scoreboard, Minnesota leads Nebraska 2-0 in Minneapolis. 12 consecutive matches over Minnesota. But right now the Golden Gophers are hoping that that streak ends. They lead 2-0. We played 2 sets at the Sports Pavilion in Minneapolis. And it's been an impressive showing so far, Audrey, from this home team, Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Yeah, they have just kind of played steady, whereas Nebraska has been on this roller coaster ride. And set 2 was really a set where they were playing so poorly. Their hitting percentage was incredibly low, hitting .056 in that second set. And, Minnesota on the other side was hitting much better at .286, and overall for the match 24%, whereas Nebraska's hitting only 13%.
And I think that's worth repeating in that second set. 0-56 for Nebraska.
Sounds like a bingo call.
10 kills and 8 errors. Taberson for Minnesota to Whitman. Roll shot picked up by the Huskers. And then a tip from Nebraska. And it's dug by Cowles. And out of bounds. So Nebraska will take the first point of set number 3.
You know, sometimes when you're not playing well, you got to talk your way out of it. And that is just don't be so concerned with how you're individually playing. Just talk and talk and talk about, you know, the hitters, and talk about how you're going to line up defensively, and cheer. Even the silliest play that is just a simple play, if you get the point, cheer like you just won a national championship. Yeah, and just work your way out of it. And this is going to be a true test for Nebraska to see if they can rebound.
Well, this isn't a good start for the Huskers. An error from Mancuso.
Yeah, that ball is hit outside of the antenna, so not a great way to start.
Tough time on the service receive, too, from Tori Dixon. Taberson sets Whitman. Nice dig from the Huskers. They'll keep it alive, and here's another chance for the Gophers. It's like a little miscommunication, but Filio caught up to it. Taberson to Whitman. Double block. Cowles steps in to take the second hit. Whitman goes deep corner, but Dykstra is there to dig. Great swing from Mancuso. Good pickup by Dixon. Good long rally here in set number 3. Taberson to the back row. Catherine Harms off the top of the tape. And so after the long rally, it will end up as Nebraska's point. And Gina Mancuso will be back to serve.
And you can see how she had to play a little bit and swing, but that time the ball was not hit hard enough, or
forced.
Yeah, it wasn't in good tempo. I think the coaches would agree with me on that one. If you're a back row player, you want to take your approach from a little bit deeper, get a big swing on the ball.
Like that?
Yeah, like that.
Exactly like that. Worth into Minnesota's double block of Taberson and Filio.
Well, Filio doing a good job of reading the play. She's showing some smarts here. You're going to see her movement is quick, swings at the right time with her upper body, closes that block. Again, that is Ariana Filio for Minnesota.
Serving is Taberson. Cook. Brookheis will get the kill because Minnesota has a net violation. And the Huskers take a 3-2 lead. But even after something like that, I didn't see much of a celebration of any kind. It seems like the Huskers are just down right now.
Right, and I think that's an adjustment that they can make. You got to control the things that you have control over. You have control over your attitude, and you've got control over your effort. There you see a little bit of celebration, but I think they can get louder, and I think that they can look at each other and talk. I see Hannah Worth doing a little bit of that. You see a smile on Gina Mancuso there, so we'll see if they can turn things around. They're ahead by 2.
Laura Dykstra continues to serve for the Huskers. Whitman. Nice block from the Huskers. And there's a little celebration. Hannah Worth was part of that block. And the Huskers have some life. Up 5-2 in set number 3. Taverson to Whitman. Dykstra is there. Mancuso sends it over. Quick set in the middle, and Nebraska won't be able to chase that one down. Ariana Filio.
Yeah, when you're a setter, you want to try and set transition middle, and I think right there, Mia Taverson does a good job of reading where the block is. As a setter, you almost have to have that sixth sense, and you have to feel what the blockers are doing on the other side. The best setters can take their eye off the ball right before they set it and get a feel for where the blocks are, actually looking right across the net.
Right off the block, Brooke Delano kind of used Minnesota, dribbled down the front, and the Gophers were not able to recover it. So Delano, who was a first-team ABCA All-American last year, gets a kill for the Huskers. She was top 10 nationally last year in hitting percentage and blocks per set. But there's a service error for Nebraska.
Just when they start getting some momentum, you know, they make a silly error.
Jessica
Granquist, the libero for Minnesota, will serve. She had 668 digs last year, which was the second highest total in Minnesota history. Good answer from Delano in Nebraska. And so maybe it's the middle in Delano that the Huskers will use to claw out of this.
Well, yeah, she definitely delivers a good one here, and her foot speed makes it possible for her to get there on time. She had a block in front of her, but is able to swing faster than the block is able to form their block, and that's why she scored on that back attack.
There's Winkleman. Dixon got up, and Laura Dykstra was there to dig, but off of her arm, out of bounds, and so look at Tori Dixon. Just a big swing, put it right down for Minnesota.
Yeah, Dixon played some right side last year. She's super versatile. She can play all positions, and sometimes we'll even see on serve receive that she swings from the left.
And on that play, Mia Taverson picked up assist 31, which is pretty impressive considering we've only played 2 and not even a half sets.
Mancuso taking a little bit off of that ball. A nice roll shot, well placed in the left front area of the court, and Minnesota's defense can't track it down.
Delano, her service picked up from Granquist. Tori Dixon that time went to the outside, and as you said, she can play those positions.
Yeah, on serve receive, you kind of have to track where she is because she's in the outside position. She's generally going to get the ball. That's why they have her out there to take a little bit of pressure off Haley Cowles.
And she was forced to play a lot of different positions last year because of Minnesota's injuries and shuffling a little bit. The answer from Mancuso, straight down. But sometimes when you're forced into a position like that, it actually is very beneficial to be able to be that versatile.
Well, absolutely. Here you see a great Mancuso kill. That's what we're used to seeing from her. You know, as a blocker, you have to watch. You almost have to train your eyes. You got to watch the ball as it goes to the setter. You got to keep an eye on your hitter. And then when the setter releases the ball, forget about the ball and watch your hitter. The ball's going to end up where your hitter is.
Dug from Haley Cowles out of bounds. A nice swing from the Cornhuskers. And Nebraska is starting to gain a little bit of life here, up 10-6 in set number 3, trying to avoid being swept in Minnesota. Cook serves it short. Minnesota sends it right over, and we'll see what Cook can do on the set. Put to Brookheis, and now Minnesota will use Dixon on the slide. Mancuso with the odd positioning from the Huskers. Whitman, dug by Dykstra. Mancuso tries to put the touch on it. Taverson chases it down, and Whitman just splits the two defenders in the back row for the Huskers.
It's a battle of the outsides, at least in that rally it was. Mancuso taking big swings on the ball, and then Whitman finishing it off. But great defensive plays we're seeing on both sides of the net by the liberos. For Minnesota, it's Jessica Granquist, and for Nebraska, it's Laura Dykstra, saving the ball a number of times in that rally.
Ashley Whitman had 14 kills for the first 2 sets, and that was her first of this 3rd set. Whitman was really active in those first 2. She's up to 15 kills, leading the way in this match here tonight. But it's a point for the Huskers. Mancuso will serve with Nebraska leading 11-7. Gives it to Whitman. Now it's Cook using her middle, and it's Haley Tramer. So the middles are coming to life for Minnesota. Tramer came in second in the Big Ten with 1.36 blocks per set, but that time showed her offense as Minnesota's block was late there.
Yeah, it's a great camera angle. You can see clearly that Minnesota's block lost track of where Nebraska's middle hitter was. You've got to keep your eye on your hitter. They'll move out of the zone, and you've got to move your feet with them.
Nice use of the block from Morgan Brookheis to earn the kill for Nebraska. Just put the ball in the right spot, used Minnesota's blockers, and now the Huskers are up 13-7 and on a 5-1 run. Big Ten Network introduces BTN Live Big, our initiative to recognize and inspire the community service efforts of Big Ten fans. To live big is to find a cause that you're passionate about and to do something about it. For more information, go to btnlivebig.com to find out how you can do more. BTN Live Big. Act, serve, inspire, and live big. A great series focusing on some great people, some great fans in the Big Ten, so we hope you'll check that out on Big Ten Network. We continue our coverage of Minnesota and Nebraska volleyball from Williams Arena, where Minnesota has a 2-0 lead, but in set number 3, the Huskers are up 13-7. And there's a net violation from Nebraska, so Minnesota will get the point and take over with Mia Taberson, setter, serving for the Gophers.
Well, right now, Nebraska's just serving tougher, but you're going to see the net violation here. As they go up, they touch the net, and of course, you can't do that, so that point goes to Minnesota.
Mancuso handles the serve. Brookheis sends it over. And there's a call you don't see all that often, but Jessica Granquist stepped in to set and looked fairly clean, but anytime it's not the setter making the set, I guess you always run that risk, and that time they whistled Granquist for the violation.
Yeah, the ball was spinning as it was out of her hands, so a good call by the referee.
That time for Nebraska, the exact same thing. Brookheis had to step in and set the ball, but she set it cleanly to Worth for the kill. Our Twitter question for the night, our Ask Audrey for Audrey Flaw, comes from @MaraChris13. Who is your favorite Big Ten player to watch, Audrey?
Well, that's a tough question because there's so many great athletes in this conference. So I can't believe I got to pick one, but you know, I really like setters, and I would say
I knew it would be a setter.
I think Micah Hancock for Penn State, you know, just to watch her develop and get better every time I watch her play. I'd say she's one of my favorites, and I also like liberos. So Granquist here for Minnesota. What a talent she is to keep her team in every single match. So if I was to pick a setter, I would say Hancock for Penn State. And here for Minnesota, I would say Jessica Granquist.
The Defensive Player of the Year last year in the Big Ten. That is Jessica Granquist wearing the libero jersey. But her team's in a bit of a hole. Nebraska is on a 9-2 run and now leads 17-8 in set number 3. So this is really the first time we've seen Minnesota have to try to find some life and dig itself out. Here's Minnesota's volleyball history, making 16 NCAA appearances, including 3 trips to the Final Four, 2003, 2004, 2009, and made it all the way to the championship game in 2004. The Golden Gophers have yet to bring home an NCAA title, but you can see the surge of this volleyball program. It is now considered one of the perennial contenders year in and year out, thanks to what has happened over the last 10 years in Minnesota.
That's right, and you know, what a great coaching staff they have this year, but to get Hugh McCutcheon as the head coach next year, and that's just an exciting thing for this for this Minnesota program. I don't think Nebraska likes it too much, but you know, Laura Bush and Alfie Recht have been doing a great job of keeping this program super competitive, and they certainly would like their team to pick it up here in this third set.
We saw Alfie Recht on the bench. You mentioned him. He's an assistant now and was a libero on the USA men's national team roster playing for Hugh McCutcheon. So he understands the system and knows what Hugh is trying to implement because he's not here to do it himself. Filio sends that one wide and long, and so Nebraska, right out of the timeout, will take another point, 18-8.
Yeah, after timeout, you want to execute the play that your coach gives you. It's a disappointing swing by Minnesota.
Whitman into Nebraska's block. So the Huskers will take another one.
So what's the difference? I feel like Nebraska not only is a little bit more energized, but I think it's the blocking game. I think their reading plays better. They're being more disciplined. There you see a great block by Brooke Delano. I just feel like the energy level on their side of the net has elevated, and that is the difference maker.
Overpass from Minnesota that Nebraska hit off of someone's head. And in any case, Minnesota sent it long, and so Nebraska continues to roll 20-8. But Minnesota has just almost fallen off the planet.
Right, they're falling apart here in this third set.
Taverson tries to go middle on the quick set to Filio, but again, Nebraska's block is there.
Yeah, you know, in sets 1 and 2, I talked about how the block for Nebraska had all kinds of seams in it and people going the wrong direction. Well, something must have been said in the locker room, and now they're doing a more disciplined game plan in terms of their blocking game, and it helps when Minnesota makes these gross hitting errors, hitting the ball so long.
It has not been pretty volleyball the last few points for Minnesota because these hitting errors have been, like you said, not even really close. So Nebraska has taken Minnesota completely out of its game. 22-8. Worth, dug by Granquist. And there's a kill, finally, for the Golden Gophers.
You know, could you imagine being a coach and how scary it is to play so well in 2 sets and then come out and play so terribly in the third? You know, Laura Bush is just talking it over with her staff. You know, what is going on here? And I really feel it is Nebraska that has changed their game and really forcing Minnesota to make some plays here. Nebraska's blocking and defensive game in general is much more disciplined.
The overall run for Nebraska after that service error is 15-2. It included 9-0, 12-1. And now in total is 15-2, and you're looking at the score 23-9. Taverson will use her outside Cowles. But Nebraska comes back with a smart play, and there's a defensive substitution. Steffi Suter was at number 10. Minnesota just get a hand on it, but Nebraska was a little more smart in execution, and the Huskers now sit at set point in set 3, 24-9, with Brooke Heiss serving. Cowles, nice angle from Haley Cowles, and she'll keep the Golden Gophers alive.
Well, a nice swing by Cowles, but you feel like Nebraska has forced Minnesota to bend here, and it's only going to take them one good play to get this third set.
Granquist will serve it. Cook. And Brooke Heiss will end it. Morgan Brooke Heiss will give Nebraska the set point, 25-10, to now stay alive, down 2-1. New life for the Huskers here in Minneapolis. set number 4 at Williams Arena in front of a packed house. The attendance for tonight, 9,354. A great turnout. A lot of Nebraska fans are here, and Minnesota brought in the enforcement for the Battle of the Barn. 9,300 is the attendance to see this match. Their Golden Gophers were on the verge of sweeping, and now I have to try to win it here in set number 4 as Nebraska stays alive.
This is the strangest match I have ever seen in terms of how lopsided the first 2 sets were, and then the third set, all Nebraska, so anything can happen. And really, this is anybody's 4th set. The team that comes out and wants the match, I think it will be the team that wins this one. And really interesting stats, and I think the coaches will scratch their heads after those first 3 sets.
The hitting percentages in this third set were Nebraska 345 and Minnesota 111. So a complete switch from what we had seen in sets number 1 and 2. But we began set number 4 with the back row attack from Worth, and then Dixon on the tip, and she caught Nebraska guessing there. And so Minnesota takes the first point.
And they were out of rhythm, so she simply sent a free ball over the net. And that ball was not controlled by Nebraska's back court. You know, a play like that, you want to be able to transition and score, so that one an easy point there for Minnesota.
Dixon, the 6'3" sophomore from Burtonsville, Minnesota. Huskers have a tough time handling the serve, but Cook did a nice job just to get it over the net, and now Minnesota has to try to do the same thing, but does not. And this odd match continues because even though Nebraska dominated the last set, it wasn't dominating in massive kills and just stuffing blocks. It was kind of these random plays.
Yeah, it was like Minnesota just fell asleep. I'm not quite sure what they were thinking. If they thought that this one was over and done with, you certainly have to play it out.
And in your interview with Laura Bush, you asked her what she would tell her team at the break and in the locker room, and she said, it's 0-0.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that message came across quite like that. And it's one thing to hear it and believe it, and it's another to execute on the court. So 2-1, Nebraska in the 4th set. Mancuso. Taberson goes with the bump set to Whitman. And now Worth winds up, but it's dug nicely from Cowles. And another attack error from Minnesota, who had a really tough time in the 3rd set. I mentioned the hitting with 7 kills and 11 errors.
Right, and there you see Harms swinging long, and you know, in the first 2 sets, she could do nothing wrong from that position. She was scoring, you know, not only in the right back area, but right front. So just a completely different looking Minnesota team so far in that 3rd set and starting off this 4th set.
Service error from Mancuso will give the ball and the point to Minnesota. Taberson from Muncie, Indiana, the junior setter, who came in leading in the Big Ten in assists per set with 12.02. Nice dig from Granquist. Whitman with the roll. Tipped over. Out of system, Minnesota from Whitman will send it over. And now Cook sets back, and it was blocked, I think, off the top of somebody's head. Crookheis comes up with the kill.
The opportunity to win the point on Minnesota's side was there. They took a pass that was brought out of the middle of the court, and they couldn't execute. There you see. Wow, that's got to hurt.
Right off the field.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good.
A tough time for Minnesota. And some of these are not even balls that should be giving a team big problem. It's kind of like Minnesota is tripping itself up.
That's right, and I wonder if they're going to insert a new middle blocker. I'm talking about Minnesota's side of the net. A lot of errors there by Filio.
In the meantime, Nebraska's block just came to life. It was Hannah Worth and Brooke Delano coming together.
And again, this is a part of their game that they have improved on. You see hip to hip, reaching back to the center of the court. And there's some celebration. We really didn't see much of that. We're seeing it now in the 4th set.
An overpass from Minnesota. Nebraska takes advantage and jumps out to a 7-2 lead as Laura Bush calls the timeout. I don't know where the Golden Gopher team is that played the first 2 sets. It's certainly a different team here, but it's a different Nebraska team as well. The Huskers are up in set number 4. They lead 7-2. The beautiful area of downtown Minneapolis, the campus of the University of Minnesota, is just off of downtown. That is the view from campus, is where we are at Williams Arena. Minnesota leads 2-1 over Nebraska, but the Cornhuskers are rallying here, and Brooke Delano goes up in the middle for a solo block to keep it rolling.
A nice block by Delano, but I don't understand the play calling by Mia Taberson. She's bringing her hitter right into Brooke Delano's hands. I mean, you want to make the big girl move, and so you want to call that play and pretend that you're going to set that person, but then go to your place.
Ashley Whitman finally gets a kill for Minnesota to hopefully for the Gophers end this Huskers rally.
You know, what makes her so difficult to block is at the last minute she decides where she's going to hit. She doesn't give it away. She does a lot of good things with her upper body. Sometimes she's looking cross court and turns and hits line. That time, really, she delays and then at the last minute puts that top spin on the ball and swings cross.
In the first 2 sets, Minnesota had 33 kills, 11 errors. In the next 2 sets, 3 and 4, they had 9 kills, 17 errors. Actually had a negative hitting percentage in the 3rd set. It was minus 111. I read it as 111, but it was minus.
Right.
And right now they're at minus 214.
Yeah, but a good swing by Harms here on the right side. This is what her team needs from her. There's just the slightest amount of line. She sees it, great vision, and rips it.
Cook to Worth. And Minnesota's double block is there, but can't quite find the ball off the block. And so Worth picks up the kill. 10 kills and 10 digs for Worth. She checks out with a double-double already. She has a team high, had a team high 10 double-doubles last year.
Yeah, and it's good to see her smiling and laughing out there. I mean, she feels very comfortable. I didn't see a lot of that sort of body language from her in the first 2 sets. So as we've said over and over, just a completely different Nebraska team here in sets 3 and 4.
3 ball from Minnesota that the Golden Gophers take advantage of. They get the kill from Catherine Harms.
Good swing here. But if you are inserted in the backcourt, you've got to dig. I don't understand. I see that they're taking Hannah Worth out for the serve. But she is
was right there.
Yeah, she's a great defensive player. Hannah Worth can be there and save that ball.
Good play from Nebraska. Delano finishes it in the middle, and she has been huge in sets 3 and 4. We didn't call Brooke Delano's name much at all in the first 2 sets, but she has been behind the comeback for the Huskers.
All right, and Lauren Cook disguising her attack. Her set. She looks like she's going to attack the ball. She goes up and the slightest little movement there. You think that she's going to swing at the ball, but in the last second sets that middle attack. So nice deception by Lauren Cook to set her middle attack up.
Paige Hubble, the junior from Lincoln, serves for the Huskers. Taberson goes to Dixon. The slide that's dug up from Worth. Nice defensive play from the Huskers. Cowles, nice dig again from Worth. She's been impressive defensively. Taberson to Cowles again. And that is blocked by Nebraska. They're saying Minnesota touched it, but the official disagrees.
And in that play, Lauren Cook was clear across the court, so Nebraska could only put 1 block up against Minnesota's attack. She went sprinting across, but she was very late and didn't even jump on the block.
Yeah, Taberson has 40 assists. And there's a service error from Cowles. Minnesota is just missing opportunities here. And Nebraska's trying to take advantage.
You know, I've seen Cowles take over matches from the end line, and she's just making some critical errors there. I don't think there's a chance that you can get your team back into it when you're making that many service errors.
An overpass for Minnesota. Wow.
And servicing errors.
Hello.
Yeah, you are going to get back into this set by serving tough and passing well, and Minnesota struggling in both of those areas.
13-6 now Nebraska leads in the 4th set. Cook continues to serve. Taberson to Whitman. And now Cook, back set to Brookheis. And Brookheis goes cross court and gets the kill for the Huskers.
You know, she has been quiet, but you see that the lefty likes to swing to the right back corner. It's just that natural cross-court shot. You've got to make a play on that. It's not that booming hit, that thunderous hit. As a defensive player, you want to step to the ball, angle your platform up to the center of the court, make a touch on the ball.
Coming up this weekend on Sunday, you can watch top-ranked Illinois as the Illini head to Lincoln for a tough one on the road. Number 5 against number 1. That will be some great volleyball. You'll see it on Sunday at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. It's presented by Pure Silk, only on Big Ten Network. Audrey and I will be there at the Coliseum in Nebraska, and I would imagine the Husker faithful will be decked out, loud, coming in full force to see this match. Number 5 against number 1.
Yeah, that is going to be a great one. We'll see what the rankings are, but I would imagine they're still going to be very much what we're seeing right now. National Illinois, they're at the top of the rankings. They are a very well-balanced team. I've seen them play, and they are all of what they appear to be in that number 1 ranking. Great offensive players, and what a great setter they have, and good defense in the backcourt as well.
Illinois is 7-0 in the conference, 18-0 overall. Nebraska is also 7-0 in the conference, but does have 1 loss this season, so 14-1 overall for the Huskers. But boy, did they have their backs against the wall here in Minnesota, down 2 sets to none, and then won the 3rd set, and now leading 14-6 in set number 4.
They seem very much in control, though. They're very composed, and they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. So if they can get this 4th set, we'll see how it goes in the 5th, but a lot of volleyball still left to be played in the 4th.
Cook will go to Mancuso. Minnesota even have trouble with that. But sends a message back over, so maybe this will get the Gophers jump-started. On the other hand, Nebraska's really done a lot to keep Minnesota off balance. Here's Tori Dixon serving for the Gophers. Cook will pass it over to Brookheis. Gophers use Whitman. Dykstra is there. Mancuso right down the line, but out of bounds. One official called it out, and the other didn't make the call.
Right, it was long on the end line, and so that's the call that the official made.
And Nebraska wanted the side judge to make the call on the line.
That's right. Yeah, there was no touch, and I don't believe there was a touch on the defensive player.
And there's a yellow card issued to John Cook.
And maybe that'll get his team fired up a little bit.
14-8. Nebraska serves, Nebraska leads.
You know, in this serve-receive pattern, Mancuso is passing on the right side of the court, and I feel like Minnesota's been trying to pick on her, serving the ball to her, trying to get her out of the hitting rotation.
Oh, beautiful dump by Lauren Cook. Great recognition by the setter. I think we've only seen her do that one other time tonight, and that's a key, is that you can't use that too much or the defense really picks up on it.
And that's right. A good pass here, and it's that two-handed set, so it's not like you're taking the ball with your left hand and pushing it. You know, at the last minute, you're just trickling that ball over the net. Very deceptive play by Lauren Cook.
Taberson uses Whitman, but great double block from Nebraska. Whitman again goes over top the block that time. Worth digs it. Beautiful cross-court shot from Morgan Brookheis.
Yeah, she's coming alive, and I'll tell you what, if you are Whitman for Minnesota, you got to score on the previous attempt. You had the opportunity here. There's the shot that she just trickled over. You can see how Hannah Worth just shuffled her feet to get to that ball. It was more or less a free ball.
Slide for Filio, handled nicely by the Huskers. Whitman. Nice dig from Dykstra. And here's Brookheis. Sent it deep, but Cowles dug it. Whitman pushed Cook a little bit. Taberson uses her middle and Filio, but Nebraska is right there to cap it.
That's Tramer with the block, but in that rally, boy, Lauren Cook impressed me with a back bump set. She's running all the way to the left area of the court and is able to pass the ball behind her perfectly in the area of the court, the right front area of the court to her hitter. So what a gutsy play by Lauren Cook.
Whitman comes up big for Minnesota. Ashley Whitman has that big swing on the outside and gives Minnesota an important point here.
You know, the burden of the left side hitters is oftentimes when points are on the line, the sets is on the line, the ball comes to you and you've got to deliver. And if you are the libero or the DS playing against a strong outside attacker, you hope your block lines up so that it makes your job easier, so you line up around the block and make a big dig for your team. Like that.
Again, good dig from Dykstra, and Nebraska is able to save it. Another nice dig from Dykstra. Quick set. Minnesota's in recovery mode. Whitman taps it over. And up big for Hannah Worth. And there was another opportunity left for Minnesota to put a better swing on the ball. Instead, a little tap goes over, and Nebraska handles it nicely, and Hannah Worth puts the finishing touches.
And I like the hands on Morgan Brookheist. She can take that second ball if Cook plays the first one, and she puts up a nice set. So it's so important as a right side player to be able to do that.
The answer from Minnesota comes from Catherine Harms. 18-10, Nebraska leads but trails 2 sets to 1. Whitman with the great serve. It's short and Hannah Worth can't handle it, so it's an ace for Whitman.
You know, that short game is so important when you're serving. You want to serve one short, get the passers moving up, then serve one deep and catch them moving back. And another strategy is to serve the outside attacker. Make them think of passing the ball first, possibly moving their feet into the court so that they don't get a crisp approach on their attack.
Cook with the push set to Delano. Powers will go up again, go outside the block and outside the line as well. So it's a point for Nebraska, 19-11. This will be Brookheist to serve. Brookheist was a 3-rotation player last year to a 6-rotation player this year. She's been solid all around for the Huskers and serves up an ace.
Granquist not able to control that. It's unlike Jessica Granquist. Her strength is really not just digging the ball, but taking control of serve receive.
Brookheist serves it to Granquist again, a much better pass. Was into the block. Back row set for Mancuso. And it's executed well. Gina Mancuso just came out of the back row and put the kill down.
And you said executed well, and I completely agree. I like the way Lauren Cook set the ball low. Take a look at this. It's a low set to the middle, and there you see a nice cut shot. There were 2 blockers up against her, so you got to hit around that block. So nicely done by Gina Mancuso.
And a great block coming together in Worth and Delano. And you can see the reaction from Hannah Worth. And the fans from Nebraska shutting roof, 22-11. Delano has 1 solo block, but 10 assists tonight. Powell's. And for Nebraska, it's Worth. Out of system for Minnesota. Harms. They save it. And a nice set to Worth. You could just see that. That was a great set. Out from Lauren Cook, she pushed it out to Hannah Worth, and Worth just finished it off.
And you know what she does? She jumps so well that it allows her to delay a little bit as she's in the air, and at the last minute, at that sweet spot, she just comes through. So it's her ability to jump well that allows her to swing so effectively.
She, I think, soars.
Yes.
I mean, that is how I describe the way that she just launches from her approach. And then I agree. It's almost like she can pause in the air because she's up so high and she's there so early. She she just kind of cocks back and boom, releases.
Yeah, pretty special player. We're talking about Hannah Worth.
No one there for Minnesota. Oh, okay, thought it hit the ground, but Taverson thought she got it. In any case, they'll give the point and ball to Nebraska. And the Huskers will sub in Shelby Winkleman to serve for Worth on set point. 24-12, and Nebraska, remember, was trailing 2 sets to nothing, and a point here would even things at 2-2. Taverson to Dixon, and Dixon goes cross court, but it's out of bounds. And so Nebraska comes back to even this matchup, down 2-0. The Huskers take the third set, 25-12. An impressive comeback for the Huskers. We'll see what set number 5 brings. We are all squared away at Williams Arena. Minnesota 2, Nebraska 2. We've got a 5th set to play in Minneapolis. Just a few weeks ago in Lincoln, Penn State visited Nebraska, where Nebraska took the first 2 sets. Penn State came back to win sets 3 and 4. They played a 5th set that the Huskers ended up winning. And we're seeing a similar situation here tonight, where it's Minnesota taking the first 2, Nebraska coming back, and we're about to play a 5th.
Yeah, this could really go either way. Both teams have had their chances to play well tonight, and both have played like junk. So we'll see what team comes out. You know, and I don't think I'm being too brutal. I think both coaches would agree with me that, you know, both teams have had their moments where they have shined and then really have played just awful, hitting percentage-wise.
Minnesota is negative in sets 3 and 4. That means they've had more errors than kills.
Right.
Nebraska in sets 3 and 4 combined for 24 kills and only 3 errors. It's a complete 180.
Right, and so this 5th set, what do? You got to regroup, and you just have to believe in your training, and you have to play well for 15 points. But you got to come out strong. 15 points, well scored, Gonzaga fast. The game is over before you even know it, so you got to come out and you got to push. Minnesota's still in a timeout, getting themselves pumped up. Nebraska is out on the court there, ready to go, and these Gopher fans are cheering on their team. We sure would like to see Minnesota win tonight.
Well, we heard the Go Big Red chant, and then all of a sudden the Gopher fans got up and realized, hey, we're the home team and 9,600 people here. We better start cheering louder than Nebraska. The energy has picked up a little bit. We'll see set number 5. Not a lot of room for mistakes, though. You played to 15 in this 5th and final set, so we are tied at 2. Number 5, Nebraska. Number 14, Minnesota. The Golden Gophers took sets 1 and 2. Nebraska came storming back to win sets 3 and 4. The serve will be for the Huskers. Lauren Cook, the center, will start things off.
And this is where you show what you're made of. On the end line, can you serve aggressively? Can you push the other team out of their comfort zone and force them to play out of system?
Taverson goes to Whitman on the outside, but Worth digs it nicely. And Minnesota watches that one go, but it lands close to the line, and it is Nebraska's point.
You know, John Cook, I asked him to describe his setter, Lauren Cook, and he said, have you ever watched Top Gun? She reminds me of Maverick. She takes risks. She plays on the edge. That's exactly what that play was. Not a lot of setters would have set middle there. They would have done the safe thing and set the ball to the outside.
Minnesota set to the outside, but it paid off for the Gophers in a big swing from Ashley Whitman. Whitman has been the go-to player for Minnesota this season. She's been hot and cold here tonight, but she's a 2-time Minnesota Gatorade Player of the Year. You don't see a 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year very often.
Yeah, and that's her 20th kill of the night.
20 kills, 10 digs. A double-double for Whitman. Can Dixon get there? She cannot. Minnesota can't handle it from Nebraska, and so the Huskers take the quick 2-1 lead with Mancuso going back to serve.
And in the 5th, you really don't want either team, you know, you don't want your opponent to get a huge lead. You want to keep siding out and keeping it close.
Whitman into a big Nebraska block. It's Brookheis and Tramer combining Minnesota.
Let's take another look at this. Look how high this block gets. And again, it's not how high you get, it's how far over. The penetration is key.
Tough time receiving on Minnesota for Steffi Suter. Cook sets outside. Kept alive from by Mancuso. And a nice finish. Wow. You didn't expect to see that. Look at Hannah Worth is going all the way back to her setter, Lauren Cook, to acknowledge the play.
That is a great play there. Not only did she get the ball up, but she put a great set. She's all the way off the court to deliver that bump set.
Lauren Cook was almost as far away as you could get from your outside hitter, and to just send a bump that far and that on target is impressive. Look at how far back number 2 has to go. Here she goes, taking off. There goes Cook.
5 steps to get to the ball, and perfect set right there.
And worst reaction is to run straight out and congratulate Cook. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Look at that. That is not scripted. That's what a great setter will do to a team. Energize them, and that's exactly what Cook does for Nebraska.
4-1 for the Cornhuskers, leading, who have won 12 consecutive matches over Minnesota. The last time the Gophers beat the Huskers was in 1980. Minnesota's hoping to put an end to that here tonight. Was off to such a great start, 2-0. But then after the break, Nebraska regrouped and took sets 3 and 4. Now here we are in the 5th.
Yeah, and I know Cook was probably very concerned with how his team showed up in the first 2 sets. You've got to travel well. There aren't going to be many opportunities like this one where you can come back so strong in that 3rd set and 4th set here. And you know, make it a match. I think they have to travel a little bit better and come out stronger in sets 1 and 2 on the road here in the Big Ten.
And you know, this could be one of those weekends that Nebraska would look back on. Maybe this is a Final Four team, maybe this is a national championship team, and said, that night, those back-to-back nights in Madison and Minneapolis, boy, did we learn a lot and did we grow from those matches. Dug by Cook, and so Dykstra steps in. Minnesota tappers into Whitman. And Ashley Whitman, when she gets on top, she just sends that ball straight down.
Yeah, that's right. And Minnesota doing what they have to do, taking control of this easy dig, and being able to transition and score. And again, if you watch the blockers' bodies, they're not hip to hip. There's just that slight area between the 2 blockers' hands, and that's where Whitman hits it, right in the seam.
Cook goes to Brookheist, but Minnesota puts the block out of bounds, and so it's the 40th assist now for Lauren Cook. So both of our setters are over 40. Taberson has 46 assists. Dykstra, the freshman from Redondo Beach, comes in with a lot of expectations. And so far she has met them. Nice tip, nice touch from Brookheist. Minnesota recovers, sends it over. Brookheist gets another shot at it. Boy, the lefty gets it. That's a pretty tough cut to use the angle there when you're left-handed like she did.
Yeah, Minnesota's block is getting hot. Watch this. You're going to see the movement going the wrong way by number 11 for Minnesota, and that is a clear, huge opportunity for Brookheist. And she's one-on-one. She's going to score.
Minnesota answers with Whitman. Ashley Whitman will go back to serve at 6-3. Nebraska leading in the 5th set. Right down the line, Brookheist goes. So Morgan Brookheist has been a factor in the 5th set, and she will be serving.
Mancuso taking control of this pass, and look at this set. Nice and low and right to the pin. It's a perfectly placed set. It looks so easy. Lauren Cook makes it look so easy, but it's so tough, especially when you're moving in the opposite direction and you want to set the ball to.
Minnesota is hanging in here in set number 5, trailing 7-4. with Jessica Granquist now, the libero serving.
Yeah, they really need to make a push here. That you don't want your opponent to get too far ahead. Again, 15 points comes at you pretty quickly, so this is a crucial point for Minnesota.
An error from Cornhuskers into the team. And so it closes the gap for the Golden Gophers. John Cook looks on, hopes to see his team finish off this impressive comeback. Cook uses her middle, Delano. Minnesota recovers. And now Cook will go to Worth. Taberson, tough set. Cowles had to chase it down. Cook to Worth. And that time, Hannah Worth took care of things. You give her enough chances on the outside, and then pretty soon that ball is not coming back.
Absolutely. It's .8 for Nebraska, so they're going to switch sides. Mia Taberson in that rally, now delivering a perfect set to her outside hitter, and it just takes that one slight error. You know, the ball was brought over the net by Minnesota. It was almost a free ball situation, and that gives Nebraska the opportunity to get a point, and they do. So the error was made on Minnesota's side of the net by not getting a tough attack from an outside hitter.
There's competition on the court, and now there's competition in the stands. Go Big Red chant versus the Let's Go Gophers. But it's nice to hear because we have almost 10,000 in the building, so let's let it out. Bring the energy. We're in the 5th set here. Nebraska is leading 8-5. We have 2 top 15 teams in the country in front of us. And this will be Shelby Winkleman serving for the Huskers. Taberson has to use the bump set for Harms, but Nebraska is there, and the momentum is on the side of the Huskers.
Again, the pass took Mia Taberson off the net, and she wasn't facing left front when she set the ball, so it looked like she was going to set it there. There you see it right from the ball, and so that play was so easily read by Nebraska's ball.
Right there, right place, right time for Nebraska. Minnesota beat Iowa last night in straight sets, and Nebraska beat Wisconsin in straight sets on the road in Madison. Both teams had pretty good seasons last year as well. Nebraska won the Big 12 title. Minnesota finished tied for second in the Big 10. So they're both, we're still early enough in a season where you're feeling out for the teams. You know, we're just hitting the stride in the Big 10 season and finding out who are the legitimate contenders in a conference. But these kinds of matches, I think, show a team a lot about the character. Not just the team that wins, but the team that loses as well. And so I think each team will be able to look at this match and really discover probably a lot about what its strengths are and what its weaknesses are.
Oh, I guarantee you, Marnie, there's going to be a lot of tape watching going on tomorrow. I think both teams have a lot to learn in terms of how to mentally approach a match. I think both of them have played, like I said, very well. And then a lot of times we've seen mental errors and complete mental breakdowns in terms of how the offense has been run.
A lot of the game is physical, but a lot of the game is mental. Taberson to Cowles, and Haley Cowles goes right down the line.
Yeah, and again, it all comes from the passing game. Minnesota has struggled in that passing department, and here the pass is not perfect. We all know where Taberson is going to go, but a real crafty shot there by Haley Cowles to hit down the line.
Big swing from Gina Mancuso.
Boy, you're not going to win if you don't go for the ball, and Mancuso hitting a hard shot, but in between 2 defensive players. Both people should be knocking heads going after that ball, not parting away from each other. So Mancuso with a big swing in the middle, in the left back area of the court.
She has 17 kills tonight. She is the leader for the Cornhuskers. Paige Hubble serves for Nebraska. And it's not handled by Minnesota. Hubble gets the ace. Nebraska gets the point, leading 11-6, just 4 points away from winning a match after starting down 2-0.
You see nice energy by Hannah Worth there. They're really picking on Whitman I'm not sure why she's still in that serve-receive pattern. Let's see if they serve her the ball again.
Cowles takes the serve. Dixon will swing, and Tori Dixon will get Minnesota the ball back. An important point for Minnesota because the lead for Nebraska is starting to stretch. They're inching ever closer to 15. But Minnesota will hang in there. Taberson picked up her 50th assist. 44 for Lauren Cook. Cook will try to get 45 right here, but no, Minnesota will have something to say about it. The block from Dixon and Whitman.
I was just going to say, the blocking game from Minnesota has to come on strong. You have to predict where the ball is going to. And here it is a good movement there. You see the middle blocker from Minnesota, Tori Dixon, shuffling to her left to close that block. Again, they got to play almost flawlessly here in order to get this fifth set.
Well, you think you are entertained tonight? We hope you'll join us next weekend. On Sunday, you can see top-ranked Illinois against Nebraska. Right now, they're number 1 and number 5 in the country. They're both undefeated as of this very moment in the Big Ten. They will match up against each other Sunday. You can see our coverage at 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. It's presented by Pure Silk, only on the Big Ten Network. Some of the great volleyball matches you will see this season. The Big Ten Network. When you have 7 teams ranked in the top 25, matches like these will come along often, which is great for volleyball lovers.
Right, it's hard to pick a bad one to air because all of these matches in the Big Ten are so competitive. All teams have to prepare. They watch a lot of tape. They scout their opponent because on any given night, anybody can win in the Big Ten Conference.
And right now, it is 11-8. Nebraska's leading in set number 5. Minnesota took sets 1 and 2. Nebraska took sets 3 and 4. We are still awaiting a winner. And we saw Minnesota just fall apart, really, in sets 3 and 4. But now to come back in this 5th set and really put a performance together is impressive for Minnesota because it looked like Nebraska would have no problem with it, just keep on rolling and go ahead and finish off the comeback, but it's not the case.
Yeah, they're only down by 3, so this is a critical point.
Haley Cowles serves for Minnesota. Worth takes the serve. Set will be pushed out off the block from Minnesota. Dixon right between the blockers on the slide.
Wow, and the crowd is into it, and you can feel the energy and the momentum shift. What a great set. And Dixon coming through. That's exactly what her team needed. Big swing by Tori Dixon.
Cook to Mancuso. Minnesota plays it off the block. Taberson again goes to Dixon on the slide. Back-to-back plays, but that time Nebraska had it red. The single block from Mancuso.
Mancuso doing a good job of lining up and getting her block set early on that slide. The hitter comes through very quickly. You have to have your block formed as they're swinging the ball. You can't be late.
Are you surprised Minnesota went right back to that?
Not really. I would have went with her too.
Whitman. The Golden Gophers will try to bring this one back into play. Free ball, though, for the Huskers. We'll see what Cook can do with it. So go to Brookheis. And it's dug up from the Gophers. Now Mancuso on the outside and off of Minnesota's block. So a point for Nebraska, 13-9.
A good job by Gina Mancuso to see that the block is not penetrating and you see hands going straight up. You want to wipe the ball off the block, go high, reach for those fingertips, aim for those fingertips, and ship the ball out of bounds.
That's exactly what she did to win the points. The back row attack off the tape from Harms and in. That's a great touch. A little luck involved in that one as well, but the Golden Gophers will take it.
That's right. Now Filio has rotated into the lineup in the front court. Let's see if she can read the play and make a big block for Minnesota.
Tori Dixon has the serve. Cook uses her middle. That was Tramer. Whitman is long, and there is no touch from Nebraska. So the Huskers are now 1 point away from finishing off the comeback. to serve. And it's long. A service error from Gina Mancuso.
Well, even though the advantage goes to Nebraska, you want to be able to serve for the match from the end line. Serve an ace, not an error.
Minnesota setter Taberson now back to serve for Minnesota. Cook goes to Worth, and that hit the ground. So Hannah Worth finishes off a comeback for Nebraska, down 2 sets to none. The Huskers win the 5th set 15-11, and they will take one from Minnesota in Minneapolis in 5 sets. You gotta be impressed with the way Nebraska regrouped and came back here tonight.
Well, and Hannah Worth at the end, what an incredible shot she had. That thing just went from her hand to the ground so quickly. And Hannah Worth, man, I'll tell you what, All-American status right there. She was showing what she's got.
The performance of the match is brought to you by Pure Silk Shave Cream, and that belongs to Gina Mancuso, who finishes this match tonight with a team-high 18 kills. Hannah Worth and Morgan Brookheis had 15 each, but the performance of the game is Gina Mancuso. Nebraska has something to celebrate in Minnesota with 13 consecutive wins now over the Golden Gophers, and the Huskers stay undefeated in the Big Ten. So we will say goodnight from Williams Arena, where the final score is 3-2. The Huskers come back to beat the Golden Gophers